Matt Walsh was with us when he produced a powerful documentary called What is a Woman? Well, he has topped his previous work with a blockbuster new film in which he went deep undercover for this latest movie role. And he's transformed himself into a certified diversity, equity, and inclusion expert for this hilarious spoof. It is his anti-racist journey. Here's a little peek at Matt Walsh in his new film called Am I Racist? Take a look.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man, it's the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile. That's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What is racism?
Martin Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist?
What the is that?
The word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
Say you racist, but they call everybody racist.
The film is sweeping the nation and owning the libs all the while. Would you please welcome the film's creator and the star of the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh. Matt, your creativity always amazes me. Where in the world did you get the idea to do this film about racism?
Well, we, our last film was What is a Woman, as you mentioned, and that was exploring gender ideology and basically how the world lost its mind when it comes to gender. And so then we thought, well, we want to make another movie, and what other area has the world seemed to lose its mind in? And that points immediately to race. But we thought, well, why is race a problem? Why, especially the last 4 years since the BLM riots in 2020, where is this coming from? Where is it arising from? Who's causing this problem? And well, it's these race hustlers, these grifters, the Robin DiAngelos of the world. And so we wanted to make this movie to expose those people, but we thought rather than just going and asking them questions, I'll go on a personal journey of exploration myself, which is totally sincere, obviously. I was really looking to, decenter my whiteness, and look, in my job, I'm called racist all the time, and for so many years it just kind of rolled off my back. But then one day I just said, you know what? What if they're right? And so I need to go on a journey and find out. And that's kind of where the movie begins.
You know what I loved about it when I saw you in the film. I didn't recognize you at first. I mean, I've known you for several years, and, the glasses were different. You had the man bun thing going on.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because a lot of people have been really rude about the wig.
Really?
Governor.
No, they shouldn't be. I'm thinking about getting one and wearing it every week.
It's a beautiful wig.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Could
wig.
I buy it from you? Because I think it would look good on me coming out.
It'll cost you.
Oh, okay.
If you want the authentic film wig.
If I wear that wig, it will cost me. My wife will leave me. I'll tell you what's going to happen. But I mean, honestly, I didn't recognize you at first. And obviously that was an important thing because a lot of people now know who you are because of the previous film. Did anyone ever say, are you Matt Walsh? Did you have that?
Not as often as you would think.
Yeah.
It did happen early in the film. I go to a support group where it's white people who are struggling with the fact that they're white. And so they sit around in a circle. It's like AA style, sitting in a circle.
What do they say? They start out and say, my name is Mike, and I'm white. Hey, Mike. Is that what happens? I mean,
basically, yes. That's basically
that's crazy.
And so that's the beginning of the journey. And I go to that support group, not in any kind of costume, just to see if we can get away with it. And I got about an hour into it, but at a certain point, as you see in the movie, I'm in this support group and I start getting emotional because again, it's a sincere journey on my part. And they have a cry room that they've set up. If you cry,
you're not serious.
I'm dead serious. They have an actual
cry room.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I get emotional. I leave to the cry room, which was a strategic mistake because while I'm in the cry room, that gave them time to Google me, and they started looking at my Wikipedia page. And my Wikipedia page is not very flattering to me.
Yeah. They never
when
are.
I came back, they knew what was up, and they kicked me out. And they called the cops, too, because they said that I made them feel unsafe. Just
Really?
my presence in the room.
And these were other white people that were there.
These are the white people. It was led by a black woman who's the helps people deal with their whiteness. And then from that point on, I'm in the man bun and the whole getup. And from that point on, I wasn't recognized ever again. So the man bun is all it takes.
And it was... That's good to know, because there are places I need to go where I won't be recognized, and I think that's maybe the ticket right there. You got a lot of pushback from media people saying that you were taking advantage of people by going undercover, but I don't remember anybody getting upset with Sacha Baron Cohen when he did the Borat movies, which were hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
And he spoofed everybody. He did exactly what you did in several different films. Nobody got upset about that, but they got upset at you.
Yeah, not only do they not get upset at him, but we're taking a similar approach. The only difference is that Sacha Baron Cohen in Borat, which is a very funny movie,
Yeah.
but who is he embarrassing in that film? If you've seen it, he's embarrassing just average Americans in the heartland who are trying to be nice to him, and he embarrasses them. And the idea behind the movie is he's exposing that average white Americans are all racist or whatever. In this movie, we were very intentional that we did not want to use this kind of disguise to embarrass normal people. We're looking to embarrass the elites. We want to embarrass people with PhDs next to their name, people that are college professors, and the so-called experts, the people that make millions of dollars selling books on this topic. We want to embarrass them, although I'm not embarrassing them. I'm only giving them an opportunity to embarrass themselves for our amusement.
What was the craziest thing that you encountered when you're out there talking to these very, very sophisticated academics?
Well, there's a lot. I guess I don't want to give spoilers away, but some of this stuff has been reported in the media, so I guess, well, spoiler alert, but I'll just go ahead and say it. Probably the thing that sticks out to most people who've seen the film is we do eventually talk to Robin DiAngelo, who is the author of White Fragility, and which is kind of the Bible of anti-racism. She's the most prominent person in this field. And we were able to, towards the end of my journey, I was able to talk to her. And we had in mind going into that interview, into that scene, that I wanted to be able to use her ideas kind of against her, kind of one-up her, using her own logic. And the goal was, by the end of the scene, I wanted to see if I could get her to pay cash reparations to my black producer on the spot. And my black friend, Ben, who's a producer on the film, we called him in, we sat him down, and I gave her an opportunity to pay cash reparation. She was a little bit hesitant at first, but I just used some of her own arguments to her, and then eventually she gets up and she goes to her purse, she pulls out cash and gives it to the producer, pays reparations on the spot. And that was probably not even the craziest thing that happened in the movie.
Did you ever, by the way, tell her there who you were and what you were doing?
No.
She had to see the movie to find out, right?
Yeah. Well, she asked my name. I told her my name's Matt, and she didn't ask for a last name, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because she put out a statement before the movie came out. A day before the movie came out, she finally put out a statement condemning me and calling me all kinds of names.
Probably calling you a racist, I'm sure.
Probably that. Yeah, there was that. There were other things. But she said in her statement, she claimed that when she sat down for the interview, she noticed that the interviewer was wearing an ill-fitting wig, which, number one, the wig is not ill-fitting. I think it fits pretty well. You can see it there. And
I think it was pretty doggone good.
If you could tell that I was wearing a wig, why did you sit for the interview for 2 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, we're laughing about this whole issue of racism. I'm not making fun of the fact that racism is, for some people, real, and there has been racism in our culture and country, and it's hideous and evil, and nobody wants to defend that. And I want to make clear, we're making fun of the people who have made a living calling everybody a racist who really isn't a racist.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100%. And we don't just talk to the crazy people in the movie. We also go and talk to normal Americans. We go to a biker bar in the South where, it's a bunch of white bikers, working class people. We go down to the black community in New Orleans. We talk to them about this. And what we find is that those two groups say almost exactly the same thing on this topic, which is that they're not focused on race. They don't, you could be black or white, doesn't matter to them. They can be friends with anybody. They're not thinking about racism. They're not thinking about systemic racism. They're just kind of living their lives. So the stuff that you hear from Rob and DiAngelo, or these other DEI grifters, when you repeat it to these people who are outside of that bubble, they look at you like you're speaking a different language, because to them it doesn't reflect their reality as normal Americans living their lives. And that really is the message and the point of the film that we hope to bring out.
Which I think is so powerful, is that if you look for racism, you'll find a way to create it, but you may have to create it. If you just ask ordinary people living their lives, going to work, feeding their families, going to play ball with their kids, they're not thinking about this stuff all the time because they honestly are not racist. It's not what makes them tick. So how do we as a society get to the place where we can sort of put the stiff arm on some of this nonsense and say, let's just be human beings and be Americans and love each other and be good neighbors?
And it's funny, what you just said is exactly what we hear from, we talked to a black car mechanic in New Orleans about all of this, and he gives that exact message. He says, well, the answer here is just to love each other. That's the way he looks at it. And for me, the answer is, it's similar to what Morgan Freeman said in a 60 Minutes interview about 20 years ago. And he was asked, what do we do about racism in America? And he said, stop talking about it. And it sounds kind of simple. And this is coming from a man who would have actually experienced real racism given his age. But his message is, just don't obsess over it, and let's talk about other things, let people live their lives. Don't try to convince people that they're racist when they're not, because at the end of the day, the only person who can tell me whether you are racist or whether anyone else is racist is you yourself. You know what's inside your own heart. And if you're saying that, I don't have those thoughts and feelings in my heart, then I believe you, and let's move on.
Well, I would tell you, you're 2 for 2 on some phenomenal films that expose some of the insanity of our current culture. What is a Woman was so brilliant, and the last phrase in it, uttered by your wife, was the coup de grace of that film. This one, once again, you have nailed it and given us all a good reason to sit back and honestly say, racism isn't the problem, stupidity is the problem. Thanks for exposing it, Matt.
Thank you.
God bless you. Keep up the great work you're doing.
Thank you.
You can follow Matt Walsh on all of his social platforms. You can find out where you can go to watch Am I Racist this weekend by going to huckabee.tv, clicking on his guest page, and the theaters where it's playing will be there. And then in a few weeks or months, you'll be able to get it on the Daily Wire by streaming it.